Hassan's mental gymnastics are wild. This community is chalked. You can tell he didn't watch the video. It's absolutely insane how Hassan will argue with his own imagination. I wonder if Asmongold viewers got to this comment section first. Oh, also, tomorrow, I'm going to be at Queens doing an event. There you go. Buy tickets if you want. All right. This is Ethan Klein's complaint against, the first one is Denims. I'm probably going, I'm only going to go over one of these complaints. These things are absurdly long, 80 pages. Is it going to be live streamed? I don't know yet. I'm not sure 100%. We'll see. The Nightmare on Denim Street. We've got crazy inline images and everything. Okay. Quote, "We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the Nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it." End quote. Denims prior to reacting to Content Nuke. Hassan Piker. "Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content." Denims after reacting to Content Nuke. Hassan Piker. Introduction. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works and purposefully siphon views and revenue away from the original. Over 7 years ago, the owners of Plaintiff, TED Entertainment, Inc., TEI, Ethan and Eli Klein, established the legal standard for fair use reaction videos in Hosenzadeh v. Klein. As a genre, reaction videos vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and the extent to which they rely on potentially copyrighted material. Reaction videos, like the Klein video, that intersperse short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary constitute fair use. In contrast, reaction videos that are more akin to group viewing session do not. To a group viewing session do not, sorry. This case involves a group viewing session hosted by defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber. That's a sick last name. FKA, does that mean formerly known as? So name change? Marwa Talat Abdulmanem. And then PKA would be primarily known as Denims or Denims. Denims specifically intended her group viewing session to siphon views and revenue away from TEI's copyrighted works, Content Nuke is on Piker, The Nuke, and the H3 Show 105 Countdown to Doomsday, collectively, the works. Denims timed her group viewing sessions to coincide with the exact moment TEI released the works. Her timing was intended to capitalize on the intense public interest in the works and siphon the maximum amount of views and revenue away from the works to herself by showing the works in their entirety, or nearly in their entirety. Doesn't the goofy names hurt the credibility in the eyes of the court? Goofy name. These are her real names, right? And then whether or not you choose to, I think that doing business as names or like DBAs or is probably fine, I guess. I mean, this is what people are known as. The moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit, the H3 Snark mods, heavily promoted Denims group viewing sessions as an alternative to the original works on the H3 Snark subreddit, H3 Snark. As a direct result, Denims group viewing sessions of the works peaked at approximately 45,800 views, when her previous stream only achieved approximately 3,300. Introducing the concept of a named subreddit here, I feel like that's a lot. This is like a very technical thing to just throw in a complaint at the start without explaining what Reddit is, explaining what a subreddit is. I feel like it's a little bit, but. Okay, like most lazy reaction videos, Denims peppers her group viewing session of TEI's works with primarily brief and sporadic observations, which can be categorized as follows. Most frequently, Denims will watch long, unadulterated portions of the works and briefly pause to give short, surface-level, and often repetitive observations that provide little to no new information, new aesthetics, new insights, or understandings on the original works. Other times, Denim's commentary has little to no critical bearing on the style or substance of the works. Rather, she goes off on tangents regarding unrelated subjects or shadowboxes demonstrably false misinterpretations of the contents of the works. This last one is a very free speechy thing. I don't like this in here. Whether or not you think that it's a false misrepresentation or it feels like fundamentally different type of thing, but okay. There were occasions when Denims does provide sporadic and brief commentary on the style or substance of the works. She spreads misinformation that is refuted moments later by the works themselves or by the most cursory level of research. On the rare occasions where she actually shows the factual basis for claim, her statements are refuted by the cited source itself. Such misinformation fails to serve copyright's goal of enriching public knowledge. To the contrary, such misinformation diminishes it. Okay. I don't know why we'd have a misinformation thing related to a copyright infringement claim. But finally, Denims will even do an empty chair reaction, as shown above, where she goes off camera for an extended period of time while letting the video play to keep her audience entertained. The poverty of Denim's commentary, coupled with her highly commercial use of the works that she specifically intended to serve as substitute for the originals, fails to justify copying TEI's works in their entirety, or nearly in their entirety. Rather, Denim's group viewing session is a quintessential example of copyright infringement, i.e. the unauthorized exploitation of TEI's works to get attention and avoid the drudgery in working up something fresh. This lawsuit is to hold Denims accountable for her infringement and the H3 Snark mods accountable for materially contributing to her infringement. I guess sometimes in a complaint you can add a whole bunch of extra stuff just so you can pile on your like civil causes of action, like for your claims for relief and everything. Although I think at the end of this they only have two. Okay, Alexander was an individual. Okay, oh, so the H3 Snark mods are also named in this complaint. Okay, I was wondering because are they adding them into the complaint as well? And they are adding them into the complaint. Okay, damn. Doesn't the misinformation claim prove the malicious nature of Denims if the information is easily accessible? Malicious intent doesn't have anything technically to do with satisfying the elements of copyright. And I don't know, even debating like misinformation, this is going to be like a free speech question and everything, and you're not going to, that's just not happening in this case. Like maybe if you were suing for like defamation or something, then we could get into that, but. Okay, where were we? Jurisdiction and venue. The action arises under the Copyright Act, 17 U.S.C., Section 101. This court has federal question jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C., 1331. Venue in this judicial district is proper under 28 U.S.C., 49, because a substantial part of the acts and omissions giving rise to the claims occurred in this judicial district. So this is a federal law, the copyright. So it would be probably in a federal court for a jurisdiction, and then venue is going to be, I mean, California, I think, is where both of them live and all the actions have taken place. So venue is probably pretty easy here, I would imagine. TEI is a California corporation with its principal place of business located in LA County, California. TEI is a production company that produces content for social media, namely YouTube. Denims is an online streamer who releases content on social media platforms, namely Twitch, and resides in venues. I don't know if it's California. The H3 Snark mods are comprised of does numbers 1 through 10. The true names and exact location of does numbers 1 through 10 are presently unknown to TEI, which therefore sues said doe defendants by such fictitious names and will seek leave to amend this complaint to show their true names and exact locations when the same have been ascertained. Below is a summary of what is known about does numbers 1 through 6. Doe 1 is female, the founder of H3 Snark and one of the H3 Snark mods. She previously used the Reddit username u/Ozempic dealer, which doe number 1 subsequently deleted. Her last post using this handle was on February 12, 2025. Doe number 1 also uses the Discord handle Yogi Bear X and the screen name Paris Hilton. Screen name where? On Discord or just on some other place? Doe number 2 is female, resides in Canada, and is the head moderator of the H3 Snark mods. Doe number 2 currently uses the following Reddit usernames. These usernames. Previously, Doe number 2 used the following Reddit usernames, which were either deleted by Doe or suspended by Reddit. And then they used the screen name Sally and Alutern. Doe 3 began as a user of H3 Snark. Doe 4, Doe 5, Doe 6, and Doe 7 through 10 are the remaining H3 Snark mods. Okay. Factual allegations. Background of TEI. TEI was founded in 2016 by Ethan, Neil, and Klein. The Kleins rose to prominence on YouTube with 2 channels, H3 Productions, their primary channel, and Ethan and Hila, their secondary channel. The Kleins created highly stylized reaction videos to other YouTube videos. The Kleins' reaction videos interspersed relatively short segments of the original video with long segments of the Kleins' commentary. Quoting their other court case, Hosenzada, I don't know how to pronounce this. After TEI was established, the Kleins assigned both channels to TEI. 2016, the Kleins were sued for copyright infringement, defamation, and misrepresentation under 17 U.S.C. Section 512 by Matt Hosenzade, Matt Haas, the bold guy. Copyright claim concerned a reaction video uploaded to their Ethan and Hila YouTube channel. The video, entitled The Big, the Bold, the Beautiful, was a critical and humorous reaction to Matt Haas's video, Bold Guy vs. Parkour Girl. This is their about that court case. The court granted summary judgment for the Kleins on all of Matt Haas's claims. 2017, TI established the H3 podcast. On the new channel, TI produced podcast episodes that were less structured than the reaction videos Kleins previously made. To ensure any use of unlicensed copyrighted content qualified as fair use, TI formulated and refined best practices based on the principles from here, which include that other court case. Whenever feasible, pre-screening the original work and outlining the criticism and commentary before the broadcast. 2, ensuring the commentary was directly related to the style and or substance. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, Denims. The alt-left's answer to Kellyanne Conway. Jesus. Okay. Denims LARPs, i.e. live-action roleplay. Okay. As a revolutionary from the comfort of her bedroom in California, she is a prolific purveyor of misinformation and speaks with great confidence on topics where her knowledge leaves much to be desired. Denims repeatedly inserts herself into public controversies by employing poor judgment, knee-jerk contrarianism, and a consistent impulse to defend the indefensible, including copyright infringement, terrorism, and extremism. Denims is one of the most loyal and ardent defenders of Hassan Piker, primarily known as Hassanabi, or Hassan, the most prominent alt-left streamer on Twitch. Much like Scientologists engage in fair game, Denims ruthlessly attacks with reckless abandon anyone who disagrees with her or Hassan. She parrots Hassan's style, rhetoric, and content strategy, i.e. regularly streaming React content with minimal transformation or commentary. As such, she has assumed a leading role in Hassan's waiting room, a collective of streamers who cultishly follow Hassan and parasitically leech off of his audience by streaming before and after him. On November 17, 2023, in a now deleted video, Denims reads Osama bin Laden's letter to America in its entirety on stream. Are we claiming copyright of that next? She frequently expressed agreement and support for the letter, such as, America deserved 9/11. I can't disavow facts, man. I can't disavow reality. That's not how this works, bro. Denims reading from the letter, why do they attack us in New York and Washington? If Ariel Sharon is a man of peace in the eyes of George W. Bush, then we're also men of peace. America does not understand the language of manners and principles, so we are addressing it using the language it understands. Denim's response, he's not wrong about that. The U.S. only understands violence. Bin Laden's criticism of the United States are all correct. Despite Twitch's prohibition on terrorist propaganda, Twitch gave Denims a slap on the wrist by banning her for just a day. On December 12, 2022, in a now deleted video, Denims responded to the December 8, 2022 video of June Nicole Lapine, aka, or primarily known as Shoeonhead, which critiqued Balenciaga's advertising campaign that depicted minors in highly sexualized BDSM attire. Rather than acknowledge the widespread concern, Denims took the absurdly grotesque position of defending Balenciaga's advertising campaign and attempted to paint Shoeonhead as homophobic. Despite Shoeonhead not mentioning homosexuality whatsoever, I don't think any of this should be in here. I think this is all retarded to have in here at all. But Denim's involvement in the public controversy known as ReactGate provides great insight into her willful disregard for copyright In early 2022, Hassan and Denims, along with several other Twitch streamers, received intense criticism for conducting group viewing sessions of third-party copyrighted content without permission. In these group viewing sessions, streamers like Hassan and Denims would watch entire copyrighted works with little to no commentary, sometimes even letting the video play when they were not present, or while the streamer was sleeping. The controversy reached a fever pitch when these group viewing sessions involved mainstream television shows and films. This is good to add in. I think they should have had this. This probably should have been the opening, but... On February 1st, 2022, the online content creator known as JXC released a video entitled Hassan Piker Jinx and the Issue of Reaction Content. In the video, JXC drew a distinction between reaction videos that provide substantive critique and or additional insights into the original work and lazy reaction videos that resemble group viewing sessions. In particular, JXC focused on Hassan's group viewing sessions, including 1 is poverty of commentary, 2 is penchant for doing empty share reaction, where he lets the video play while he's completely off screen, and 3 is failure to credit the author of the original video or link to the original content. In a now deleted response video, Denims defended the unauthorized use of copyrighted content by asserting that viewers preferred watching streamers over original uploads, particularly when the material is curated. She claimed that established fair use standards are irrelevant to live streaming, including Twitch content, and need not be transformative through substantial commentary or editing. Rather, Denims claimed that a streamer's personality alone can justify the unauthorized rebroadcast of copyrighted material. On February 6th, these are good points. They should have opened with these. This whole shit was, I don't know, they're like 3 or 4. What do you call, in legal documents, you have like legal P symbol. What's the name of the thing? Is it a P? It is a P, right? Is it is it just paragraph? Legal paragraph symbol. It's not this. Fuck, what am I thinking of? Is it a D? No. It is a P. Oh yeah, wait, that thing. What is that? Pilcrow. Okay, pilcrows. 16, 17, and 18, and 19. All should have been dumped from this, I think. But in an undeleted response video, Denims defended the okay, this is good stuff. On February 6, 2025, Denims and JXC conducted a debate about the propriety. Wait, who is this JXC person? Is this like who is this? The YouTuber guy she was talking to in the video? No, but I mean, like, does he have like an online name, or is it just JXC? Oh, that's the name. Okay, I don't know if this was like Dark Viper AU or whatever, but okay, it's just this guy. All right. JXC conducted a debate about the propriety of group viewing sessions that was moderated by the online content creator named Chud Logic. During the video, Denims makes several damning statements about her personal perception on the unauthorized use of copyrighted content. Some notable moments are listed below. Early on in the debate, Denims acknowledges that she uses third-party content as filler and that it siphons views away from the original. This is so pedantic, and I don't know how much it really matters, but when it comes to formatting your complaints for inline quotes like this, are you allowed to have no spacing between the lines? I thought you were supposed to have all of these space between. I don't know if there's where my legal people are, but I just want to be clear on my opinion, like filler content and stuff. Like, I think filler content, you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React streamer, and I try to do it only with Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that. They have parentheses on a spoken quote. That's interesting, I guess. Videos and stuff like that, because I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 views. Likely, I'm not even going to be taking out I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like I guess bad about that. Debate video 850 through 918. I don't think this citation is correct, but that's okay. Block quotations are supposed to be single-spaced, indented on both sides, justified and without quotation marks. Oh, okay. So they aren't supposed to have spaces in between. Okay. Do you think that Ethan is pushing his lawyers to put these jabs into the public record? Almost certainly, yeah, for sure. Well, not these. This is all, I think, pretty relevant. But some of the earlier stuff, for sure. Shortly thereafter, Denims accepts her own bias in the situation and her desire to use third-party content. Maybe I'm coping because I'm a reactor and I want to have that content. Later in the video, or later in the debate, Denims sets forth her theory to justify a group viewing session of third-party content, that Twitch streamers are curators that provide a communal experience of watching content with their own audience who do not want to take time to find YouTube content on their own. You know, I'm not sure if you click on a random part of the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever. I might walk away from the screen, but it's about like the communal thing. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's like, oh, it's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it with other people, right? The debate video again. Okay, sorry, Connor. I think when it comes to streamers on Twitch, a lot of people go watch streamers on Twitch for their React content, almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos, and they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as is, like the streamers curating fun content and I want to watch. I think that like people who are watching content on Twitch, curated Twitch content on Twitch, aren't necessarily people that would be watching a lot of. Okay, these are just a bunch of quotes from her. Denims, however, ultimately concedes that when a viewer watches content curated by Twitch, it serves as a substitute for the original. Okay, background of H3 Snark. H3 Snark is a genre of message boards. Is part of a genre of message boards known as subreddits on the website Reddit. Okay, so we're giving an explanation for this. That's good. Snark subreddits consist of fallen fans of a particular entertainer. Over time, there have been numerous Snark subreddits regarding TEI's podcast and of the Kleins, the Klein. Many were banned by Reddit for violating its content policy, such as r/frenemies and r/frenemies2. H3 Snark was created on August 30th, 2023 by Doe Number 1, who was a fanatical Trisha Paytas fan. Doe Number 1 became a fallen fan when the TEI series Frenemies ended abruptly in June 2021. H3 Snark became a haven for fallen fans of TEI's podcasts and the Kleins. While the average viewer would move on with their lives after becoming disinterested in a podcast, H3 Snark fallen fans religiously watched TEI produce content with orgiastic hatred. Okay. H3 Snark enables these deranged and chronically unemployed fallen fans to share their perverse pleasure of hate-watching TEI content with others by providing infringing clips and links to TEI content. Beginning in the fall of 2023, H3 Snark experienced a surge of new users who were fallen fans of the TEI series Leftovers. As mentioned, the show was co-hosted by Ethan and Hassan, who is the most prominent alt-left streamer on the website Twitch. On September 14th, 2023, Ethan and Hassan debated various issues concerning China and Taiwan, such as whether Taiwan should be independent, the propriety of China's subjugation of Tibet, and the genocide of the Uyghurs. Due to Ethan pushing back on Hassan's pro-China positions, several Leftovers fans who had an ecclesiastical parasocial relationship with Hassan flocked to H3 Snark because they felt Ethan was critiquing them personally. The surge of new users to H3 Snark exploded after October 7th, 2023. Kleins are dual Israeli-American citizens. Hila was born and raised in Israel, where she served as a secretary during her mandatory conscription into the Israeli Defense Forces. While both Ethan and Hila are highly supportive of Palestinian self-determination and extremely critical of Israel and its government, the Kleins support a two-state solution as the best interim solution to the conflict. In the wake of October 7th, Hassan emerged as the modern incarnation of the Grand Mufti Haj Amin al-Husseini. Like al-Husseini, Hassan became a passionate advocate and highly charismatic leader of the Palestinian cause. Like al-Husseini, Hassan used his massive platform to spread genocidal rhetoric about anyone advocating for the right of Jewish self-determination and their ancestral homeland. The primary difference between Hassan and al-Husseini is that al-Husseini worked with the Nazis and advocated the annihilation of Jews, while Hassan advocates the annihilation of all Zionists. Since the vast majority of Jews in the United States say caring about Israel is essential or important, this would necessarily include the vast majority of Jews, even if they support the Palestinian cause and vehemently condemn the actions of the Israeli government. Okay, I don't know why. I feel like I don't know what the point is of including any of this at all, but okay. All right. Yeah, I don't have any more Hitler photos in my motions. Do you think they feel comfortable putting in all the Mimi stuff because the actual legal argument is so solid, like they can throw this in and make it stick and not hurt the case? I don't know. I don't know how all that, I can't say I pretend to know how all that works. I guess a fear that I would have, this is an intuitive fear, and I don't know if this is borne out in complaint-related stuff, is that if you include too much inappropriate stuff, it's seen as like prejudicial or not related to the complaint, and it can taint or poison the complaint in such a way that it's no longer valid, would be the first concern, I guess. And then the second concern is I wonder how much like the First Amendment stuff would ever influence somebody suing somebody for something else. Like for defamatory stuff and everything, I don't know how much your claims are hurt there if you're trying to bolster a lot of your claims by saying you don't like their First Amendment exercise of freedom of speech. And a lot of this stuff is fixated on stuff that wouldn't be, from a government sense, considered like viewpoint neutral, right? Like even if somebody believes or says all of these things, however horrific you might feel they are, it's their First Amendment right to say it, and it has absolutely no bearing on the complaint whatsoever. So I don't know why any of that would ever be included, but quote, Arabs rise as one man and fight for your sacred rights. Kill the Jews wherever you find them. This pleases God, history, and religion. This saves your honor. God is with you. Quote, al-Husseini. I imagine their in-court conduct would be different, and that that would be the main focus the judge is focused on. Yeah, sure. I just don't know how it would impact the pleading stages of the complaint. I don't know if it would or wouldn't. Would they have a chance to revise the initial complaint to submit something more reasonable? Yeah, you can amend your complaint, but typically when you're amending a complaint, I'm saying typically without any experience, so I'm trying to be very careful. My understanding is if you're amending a complaint, it's because you're including something that you might have needed to file a lawsuit first to know. So maybe, for instance, you don't have the name of somebody, so you file a suit against a John Doe, like there's Does in this suit. And then after you file the complaint, you figure out the information and you amend the complaint to include that. Or maybe you file a suit and it's missing something or you need to add something. But I don't think it would be commonplace to amend your complaint to delete half the material because it was too memey. That feels like it's, I don't think that would be standard practice. That would be my guess. But I mean, I could be wrong. Isn't this just the summary that has a broad leeway to editorialize, like they go into the initial complaints, which have to point to issues? I mean, a complaint is a complaint. Yeah, you can put whatever the fuck you want in here. I mean, Pixie did in her complaint against me. Yeah, if you want, you can throw whatever you want in here. I don't know if this makes a judge more or less favorable to your case. I don't know if it makes it seem more or less serious. Maybe it doesn't even fucking matter at all. Who knows? On October 12th, 2023, the last episode of Leftover... Well, I'm curious. Does it hurt your complaint suing someone include too much stuff? No clue. I don't even know. Yeah, fuck, I don't know. I have to talk to somebody who files a lot of civil complaints, I guess, and see what their experience is. How much of this would be just them trying to paint a picture that H3 is a target of hate along Jewish lines, etc.? Well, anti-Semitism isn't illegal, so I feel like that wouldn't be that relevant, but I don't know. If you're going to say Pixie's complaint is unhinged and this isn't, you're fucked. According to you, hers was unhinged and crazy. Here, you're just like, yeah, gee, I don't know if this hurts the case. Is it too memey? Yeah, I don't know. Let's wait and see. So firstly, I'm 17 pages out of 80 of this, and I've already said like a third of this should have been dumped because it seems irrelevant. Like, I don't know what else. Can I like finish reading? Is that okay? Yeah, also my criticism of Pixies wasn't necessarily because it was memey, it was because it included a ton of irrelevant information, which I've said this includes a ton of irrelevant, and because she fucking has lied about a ton of shit in the complaint. But, you know, okay. The last episode left, it was aired. It comprised a discussion between Ethan and Hassan regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict and the events of October 7th. During the discussion, Ethan expressed his support of the Palestinian cause and empathy for their suffering, along with condemning Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. At the same time, Ethan attempted to humanize the victims of October 7th to Hassan in the hope that empathy and mutual understanding could begin to heal the divide. Hassan was unpersuaded, and the relationship with Hassan and Ethan began to deteriorate. In the aftermath of the falling out between Ethan and Hassan, H3 Snark became a radioactive hub of fallen fans of TEI content and the clients. It became a focal point for spreading vicious lies, outlandish conspiracy theories, and hallucinatory misrepresentations about the clients. The rampant copyright infringement on H3 Snark. Despite their hatred towards the clients, the users of H3 Snark had an insatiable appetite for TEI's content. The H3 Snark subreddit users, however, did not want TEI to receive any views or advertising revenue from the consumption of TEI's content. As a result, H3 Snark became a locus of copyright infringement of TEI content, as detailed below. One method the H3 Snark mods employed to consume TEI content was to share links of TEI content on YouTube, a website that provides unauthorized access to YouTube videos and publicly performs them, which constitutes copyright infringement. And then they cite this case here. We're not going to read all the underlying cases. Fuck all that. Wait. One method the H3 Snark mods employed to consume TEI content was to share links of TEI content on YouTube, a website that provides unauthorized access to YouTube videos and publicly performs them, which constitutes copyright infringement. This copyright dispute tests the limits of our holdings in Perfect 10 v. Amazon in light of the Supreme Court's subsequent decision in American Broadcasting Companies, Inc. v. Arrow. Plaintiff's appellees, Alexi Hunley and Matthew Scott Brower, collectively, are photographers who sued defendant Instagram for copyright infringement. Hunley alleges that Instagram violates their exclusive display right by permitting third-party sites to embed the photographer's Instagram content. The district court held that Instagram could not be liable for secondary infringement because embedding a photo does not display a copy of the underlying images under Perfect 10. We agree with the district court that Perfect 10 forecloses relief in this case. Accordingly, we affirm. I wonder what they're citing to this that they agree with, because it seems like the claim here lost, but this might be common. Remember, I have absolutely no experience in common practice with filing civil complaints and all this shit. Although remember, almost everybody online commenting on this also has no common practice with this as well, regardless of their educational background or their current job. Filing civil complaints around stuff like this is going to be a lot different than other types of legal work. So I'm just qualifying that. That being said, I don't know how I feel about citing court cases without even putting a relevant quote in. I don't know what we're citing to this case for. I don't know if, but maybe that's ordinary or normal sometimes. YouTube had particular appeal to H3 Snark mods and H3 Snark users because a video watched on YouTube does not result in a view or advertising revenue to the original on YouTube. H3 Snark mods conducted live chats during TEI's live broadcast. During the live chats, the H3 Snark mods would spam the chat with YouTube links of the broadcast. Once the live stream ended, the H3 Snark mods concealed the evidence of their copyright infringement by deleting the live chat logs. Below are true and correct screenshots of the H3 Snark mods spamming the live chat with YouTube links to TEI copyrighted content. Wouldn't they be arguing that YouTube does create a copy because you don't interact with an embed? Sure, but is there not a successful case to cite for that? Number one. And number two, I don't believe that YouTube is listed as a defendant here, right? It's just the H3 Snark mods and Denims. Okay, H3 Snark mods conducted live chats during TEI's live broadcasts. During the live chats, the H3 Snark mods would spam the chat with YouTube links of the broadcast. Once live, okay, then we have this screenshots, I guess, of them spamming links to this. Doe number 3 encouraged H3 Snark users to use YouTube as an alternative to watching the TEI's video on its official channel by commenting on certain posts. Doe number 3's comments were later wiped due to Doe number 3's efforts. The user was anointed as one of the H3 Snark mods. Some examples of Doe number 3 inducing copyright infringement of TEI content are contained below. In August of 2024, the Pearl Unicorn, the user account, created the post for those who wonder why Snarkers watch moments like the second button failure. Below is a true and correct screenshot of number 3 stating, "We encourage folks to watch on YouTube since it doesn't play ads or contribute to their view count." As can be noted, Doe number 3's comment was subsequently wiped from August 2024 post. On August 28, 2024, the H3 Snark moderators created a post entitled Mega Thread the H3 Show. Below is a true and correct screenshot of Doe number 3, providing a link to the TEI content on YouTube. As can be noted, Doe number 3's comment has been wiped. Okay, so just them constantly promoting this site. I don't know, for assisting in copyright infringement, I don't know what the penalty, what the law looks like for that at all. So I don't know what the elements of that are or what you have to satisfy to sue somebody. Wait. The underlying case reaffirmed the server test, where as long as the server is the same, embeddings aren't copyright infringing. Hosting your own, however, is, I assume. The Ninth Circuit has ruled that its server test allows for copyright content to be embedded on another's website without violating U.S. copyright law, the copyright owner's public display right in particular. Why? Because embedding does not involve storing the copyrighted content on the website owner's computer or server. It merely provides instructions to a web browser to show content stored on the host website. Okay. That would have been, I think, a better citation. This isn't the actual court writing itself, so it would be a citation of the case. I'm assuming that they wrote server test somewhere in that case if it's in quotes. So. H3 Snark mods also talking to H3 Snark on how to create clips of TI content, so these clips could be posted on H3. Okay, that's all this. TI began to fight back against copyright infringement on H3 Snark by issuing takedown notices. Pursuant to 17 U.S.C. section, TI was extremely surgical about which H3 Snark posts would be subject to DMCA takedowns, relying on the most pertinent fair use decisions. Okay. Okay. So these are just posts that they're taking down from the H3 Snark subreddit. Somebody playing some music? Holy shit. That bass. Does Does that YouTube site, does that not honor DMCA takedowns? Did they ever try to DMCA take down that website, or I'm just curious? It might be a site that just explicitly doesn't give a fuck too, so. First DMCA takedown was for the H3 Snark post. The H3 Snark mods' efforts to issue fraudulent counter notifications. The H3 Snark mods made a concerted effort to issue fraudulent counter notifications to TEI's DMCA takedowns as detailed below. On January 15, 2025, Reddit informed TEI that a so-called counter notification was issued against both the 8/30/24 takedown and the September 18th, 2024 takedown, the first fraudulent counter notification. Reddit informed TEI nearly 3 months later. On its face, the first fraudulent counter notification failed to satisfy the requirements of 17 U.S.C. Section 512, subsection G3, because it failed to include 1, the issuer's address and telephone number, 2, consent to jurisdiction and service of process, and 3, a statement made under penalty of perjury. Further, the first fraudulent counter notification contained numerous indicia of being fraudulent because 1, it was a single counter notification for posts made by 2 different users, and 2, it misrepresented the 8/30/24 takedown for the post. It was also evident the first fraudulent counter notification was issued by the H3 Snark mods because it stated, "We are writing to contest the removal of 2 posts from our subreddit under alleged copyright claims. We believe these reports may have been filed by fans rather than the legitimate copyright holder." I wonder if that's a reason to contest a copyright notification. Filing counterclaims fraudulently, my guess, is going to start to put you in a really, really bad area. Like if somebody copyright claims your shit and it's whatever, then your shit gets taken down. It depends on that's going to come down to like the terms of service on a website, basically. But if you start to file counterclaims, when you file a counterclaim, what you're essentially telling the other person is, I don't believe you, sue me, bitch. That's really what a counterclaim is. And counterclaim stuff is generally, I believe the what is it called? The Digital Millennium Copyright Act or whatever, the DMCA, I think has provisions for how these need to be structured. I mean, they're citing them up here. 17 U.S.C. Section 512. 17 U.S.C. Section 512. Subsection G3. EFG3. Replacement of removed or disabled material and limitations on other liability. Contents of counter notification. To be effective under this subsection, a counter notification must be a written communication provided to the service provider's designated agent. So like YouTube's DMCA counter department or whoever is supposed to handle claims like this, that includes substantially the following: a physical or electronic signature of the subscriber, identification of the material that has been removed or to which access has been disabled, and the location at which the material appeared before it was removed or access to it was disabled, a statement under penalty of perjury that the subscriber has a good faith belief that the material is removed or disabled as a result of mistaken or misidentification of the material to be removed or disabled, and the subscriber's name, address, and telephone number, and a statement that a subscriber consents to the jurisdiction of federal district court for the judicial district in which the address is located, or if the subscriber's address is outside of the U.S. for any judicial district in which the service provider may be found. Okay. So nothing in here says you can counterclaim a DMCA because you think that the person who filed it isn't the actual person who is the copyright holder, but. How do you feel about Ethan dragging in subreddit moderators into this? Like, imagine some 17-year-old kid explaining to his parents he's getting sued for up to $150K for a Snark Reddit. Good, fuck him. I mean, if you're like actively engaged in copyright infringement like this and like maliciously actively engaged in it, then fuck him. The name of the issuer was Michael Anderson, a generic name that would make it impossible to identify the issuer of the first fraudulent counter notification. Well, I mean, it could be his real name now. I'm guessing they know for a fact it's not his real name, but. On January 16th to 17th, 2025, 2 days after receiving the first fraudulent account notification, TEI explained in exacting detail the facts and law demonstrating the first fraudulent account notification was invalid. On March 18th, over 2 months later, Reddit responded that it agreed that the first fraudulent account notification was invalid, but claimed that it would refuse to honor the takedown because the post only linked to TEI's video on YouTube. The same day, TEI explained to Reddit that this was false because the 8/30/24 takedown explicitly stated it was directed at the comment by doe number 3 and contained a YouTube link, including providing a screenshot for the comment. To date, Reddit has not responded. So it sounds like for embedding, you can't hold somebody, but I don't know how that works for DMCAing stuff. If you can DMCA like an embed, I'm not sure how that works 100%. Additionally, on March 18th, 2025, the same day Reddit informed TEI that the first fraudulent account notification was invalid, Reddit notified TEI that another counter notification was issued regarding the 918 takedown. The second fraudulent counter notification was issued on December 5th. Although I will say Reddit does remove comments for like DMCA and shit. And I think the comments that are removed are sometimes just embeds of other stuff. So, I don't know. YouTube doesn't embed, they host a copy. No, but posting YouTube onto Reddit, it would be an embed on Reddit. Reddit is not directly hosting the material. YouTube would be, right? The second fraudulent counter notification contained no indicia. It's got to be indicia or something, right? That the issue considered the 4 fair use factors prior to issuing the second fraudulent counter notification, which is unlawful. Further, the language of the second fraudulent notification demonstrated that the issuer did not understand fair use in general by stating this was an abuse of the fair use system, which is bizarre because user Brian Potatoes was claiming fair use, not TEI. And 2, the conclusory assertion, even so, would still be allowed under fair use without any analysis. Fair use is not a claim for a counter takedown request. I don't believe fair use. Fair use is an affirmative defense that you use in court once you've been sued for hosting copyrighted material. So I don't know why you would put fair use in your counterclaim, but okay. Let's see. In an April 11th, 2025 post on X by O'Brien Potatoes, Ethan Klein isn't just going after public figures criticizing him. He's also threatening litigation against random people like me who allegedly posted a 1.5-minute long clip on reddit.com. Limeo, you have to be kidding me. But he's not suing you for hosting stuff. It's because you filed a counterclaim that was likely illegal. But okay. Also, they addressed me by an incorrect name and gender, Limeo. Okay. Good one. The second fraudulent account notification also echoed similar language, indicating H3 Snark mods work with O'Brien Potatoes. Issued the second subreddit has also been mercy to many bad faith brigades recently, so I do not believe this appeal was filed by the actual copyright owner, despite the 911 containing the council's contact information. Additionally, after the second takedown was issued, one of the Snark mods left a comment on the post stating, I reached out via DM to discuss how to appeal these. If you're willing to fill out the form, this further emphasizes the H3 Snark mods coordinated a campaign of issuing fraudulent counter notifications to enable H3 Snark's copyright infringement. H3 Snark mods went on a public relations campaign to paint TEI's DMCA takedowns as fraudulent to cover up their copyright infringement. To achieve this objective, the H3 Snark mods authored several posts misrepresenting the facts. After they became vocal about pursuing claims against H3 Snark, the H3 Snarks began deleting their posts, comments, and accounts en masse to perpetuate their false narrative and conceal their copyright infringement. On March 5th, 2025, a YouTuber by the name of The Law posted a video on YouTube entitled Dear H3 Snark, I See You. In the video, The Law admits he was a former H3 Snark user, came to reject the obsessive destructive behavior he saw taking over the subreddit. He documented the acts of copyright infringement by H3 Snark users and H3 Snark mods. The H3 Snark mods deleted posts after Ethan announced plans, blah, 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 blah. Okay. By the fall of 2024, Ethan and Eli Klein's concern reached a fever pitch over Hassan radicalizing his audience with propaganda from Ansar Allah, aka the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. This makes it sound like Ansar Allah could be all three of these, I feel. This is unclear, but okay. The Kleins were equally concerned with Twitch's refusal to enforce its community guidelines against Hassan and his so-called waiting room, i.e. other Twitch streamers, like Denims, who parrot Hassan and parasitically leech off his audience by broadcasting immediately before or after his streams. Hassan and his waiting room hijacked the necessary and important discussion of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the Gaza war. They employed genocidal rhetoric that painted all Israelis as subhuman, wanting annihilation. The term Zionist lost all meaning and quickly mutated into a thinly veiled dog whistle for Jews. To combat the tsunami of hateful rhetoric, Ethan and Eli Klein, through TEI, created Content Nuke, Hassan Piker. The Nuke was written, shot, and edited from December 2024 through January of 2025. On January 27th, 2024, 4 days before the Nuke was publicly released, TEI submitted its application to register the Nuke with the United States Copyright Office. On January 28th, the USCO received the deposit copy of the Nuke. The registration number for the Nuke is PAU 4256429. The deposit copy varies slightly from the broadcast version of the Nuke. First, the deposit copy did not contain the conclusion and sponsor segment that was contained in the broadcast version. Second, to prevent the Nuke from being age-restricted by YouTube, which would limit its reach, TEI was required to fully blur out the footage of the Houthis entering the brigade of the Galaxy leader and black out the footage of Hamas releasing hostages from November 2023. Third, minor visual edits were made. Ultimately, all the deposit copy was incorporated into the broadcast version of the Nuke, comprised of the deposit copy. The Nuke is a tragicomic documentary critiquing Hassan and Twitch. It contains of original footage, highly edited montages, parodic skits, and archival materials, a great deal of which are owned by TEI. The Nuke can be divided into 7 sections: the prologue, the Twitch parody sketch, the Houthi section, the Hezbollah section, the Hamas section, the Twitch section, and the conclusion. Holy shit, I do not give a fuck about any of this. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. Do not care. Love Sabra. Oh no. Dan Clancy. Oh no. Anti-Semitism? Oh no. January 31st, 2025, TEI made a live broadcast of the Countdown episode immediately before releasing the Nuke. The Countdown episode covered various topics and was an hour and 6 minutes and 21 seconds in duration. A true and correct copy of the deposit copy is located on the flash drive as Exhibit F. After TEI discovered that Denims infringed the Countdown episode, it registered Countdown episode with the USCO on March 31st. H3 Snark promotes Denims as a substitute to watching the Nuke. Throughout January 2025, Ethan built up public interest in the Nuke by frequently discussing it on the H3 show. The audience of Hassan and his waiting room, who comprised a large portion of the users of an H3 Snark, anticipated the Nuke with religious fervor to defend their proverbial Grand Mufti from criticism. These fanatics, however, did not want to watch the authorized version of the Nuke because TEI would reap the benefits from the views and resulting advertising revenue. The H3 Snark mods knew that there was a huge demand to watch the Nuke through unauthorized channels and promoted group viewing sessions. The Nuke as follows. January 30th. Okay, so this is just them promoting people to watch the Nuke through not H3 obviously controlled YouTube channels or whatever. He said read the section before this one. Stephen Bonnell. He uses the band of Stephen Bonnell II, aka, primarily known as Destiny. Isn't like a DBA or AKA different? Like, am I really primarily known as, I'm primarily known as Stephen Bonnell. That's my name. That's what people call me. I feel like my doing business as or my AKA is a little different, but, professionally. That's what the P means. Well, maybe, okay. Destiny was permanently banned from Twitch for calling the streamer and trans activist Clara Sorrenti Inbred, a montage is shown of Hassan repeatedly referring to Jews in Israel as inbred, blah, blah, blah. So no punishment because he's Clancy's favorite streamer. Ethan Rick, okay. What if Twitch unbans me just because of this? January 31st, 2025, the HTTP mods created another pinned community post entitled Denims Live, reacting now to today's H3 podcast. At some point, okay. H3 Snark mods were well aware of Denims' reputation for copyright infringement and lazy reaction videos. The law of fair use in reaction videos. Fair use is codified in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. The statute sets forth 4 non-exclusive factors courts consider to evaluate fair use. This section will be a breakdown of the fair use factors. Should be pretty boilerplate. Denims group viewing session failed to make a fair use of the countdown episode. This section should just be applying the legal standard that was explained here to what's being alleged in the complaint, and then demonstrating that Denims group viewing session probably fails to meet. Well, I don't know if it's appropriate actually. When I'm saying this, I'm not saying this like a fucking Joe Rogan, like, oh, I'm just asking questions. Like, I legitimately don't know. I don't know if it's appropriate to bring up any fair use stuff in the complaint, because all you'd have to do in the complaint is allege that the infringement has taken place. And if you allege the infringement has taken place, like fair use arguments would be in the pleading stage, the response to the complaint is going to be them doing fair use. They're going to say, this is my response to this allegation, and it's going to be an affirmative defense if this is considered an affirmative defense of fair use. And then that'll be something that they hash out in the, I don't know if you call it the discovery phase, whatever comes after the pleading phase. And then that'll go back and forth for summary judgment, or it'll show up at trial, I guess. Wouldn't they need to counter fair use because that is the counterclaim argument? Yeah, but that's not done in the pleading stage. In the pleading stage, they're just saying, this is what I'm suing him for. And then you're asking the other person, what's your response? And the response is going to be, obviously, I deny these things. Or if I do agree, well, this is the reason why. It's because of the fair use defense. You don't have to fight that out on the pleading stage. That's what you're going to fight next in the... there's got to be like a graph. Where are my civil procedure people at? There's got to be like a graph or something that shows, like, what are all the stages of a fucking lawsuit? I only know the ones that I've been through so far. The pleading stage, the discovery phase stage, and then the what's next? Trial stage. There is usually the requirement for the suing party to consider fair use before suing, as that is part of the good faith belief that they are actually infringing. Okay, that could be the case. It could be that there is such an unbelievably common affirmative defense to a particular claim that it might be standard practice to refute that affirmative defense in a claim before it's even brought up, maybe. That could be the case, right? Like if somebody is civilly suing somebody for damages related to like rape, you might not just put in the complaint, we had sex. You would put in the complaint. Is this the same thing? You would try to counter their claim of saying it's non-consensual, even though, well, don't forget I even said that. I don't think that makes sense at all. Is consensual sex an affirmative defense to a rape claim? I don't think it would work that way. That seems unhinged. I don't know if that's true or not. Ignore everything I just said there. I don't know if that's the case. In a world where you get unbanned by Twitch, would you go back? Are there streamers that you would debate or converse with that you avoid you because of the ban? Maybe. I would have access to debating people there. I might stream sometimes. I just feel bad that the Twitch audience is just completely like mind raped by the horrible political stuff that's on there. Like it's just like your big political streamers on Twitch are Asmongold and Hassan, which I think is really sad. There are no huge center-left voices on Twitch at all. The fair use factor relates to the problem of substitution, whether the work supersedes or supplants. Actually, yeah, so it might be the fact that maybe fair use is something that you consider possibly in the complaint. This is for California, but it looks cool. Lawsuit filed. So the defendant files, responsive pleading. Oh wait, so the lawsuit is filed, and then the defendant files a responsive pleading, either answer or demurrer and or motion to strike. Are these happening at the same time? Like it's going left to right and top to bottom, or? Okay, never mind. Okay. Okay, so you serve a complaint. The other person has, I think it's 21 days to respond in federal court. This has 30 days to respond for California. I guess you can do discovery prior to a complaint even being filed. Once discovery is over, you do mediation. I don't know what mediation involves. If that's just both sides agreeing to work something out without a judge involved, and I guess if you can't mediate anything, then you go to trial. There you go. The parties may mediate at any time, though. Sure. Okay. Okay, where were we? Jesus Christ. The first fair use, okay, so this goes through all the fair use factors here. And then this is doing the denim stuff. Holy Christ, the timestamps. Uh-oh. In total, Denims' group viewing session of the Countdown episode was 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 56 seconds. During the group viewing session, Denims provided approximately 4 minutes and 43 seconds of brief and superficial commentary that usually has little critical bearing on the Countdown episode, 43 seconds of partially related commentary on the Countdown episode that meanders into unrelated topics, and 2 minutes and 12 seconds of unrelated or unintelligible comments. In simple terms, out of a total runtime of 1 hour and 3 minutes, 56 seconds, the Countdown episode played uninterrupted for nearly 88% of the total runtime. Denims also had the Countdown episode take up approximately 3/4 of the screen, while she only occupies approximately a quarter of the screen. That de-emphasizes her presence. Denims' objective was to provide a large and unrestricted view of the Countdown episode to her audience. It was clearly commercial. Our website that compiles statistical data on Twitch streamers. Shortly before our group viewing session of the Nuke, Denim receives a message from a chat stating, "We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views to the Nuke." Denim replies with, "Yeah, I'm going to stream it since Ethan confirmed it's coming out today. We're going to stream it." Immediately prior to and throughout Denim's group viewing session of the Nuke, she prominently displays a Chiron, that's what this is, that was pronounced right, Chiron, at the top of the screen that stated, "Watching a sound content Nuke" from Ethan Klein. During Denim's group viewing sessions, Denim responds to a chatter by stating, "Unfortunately, we're watching the Ethan Nuke." Blah, blah, blah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I didn't want to watch that myself. And I know all of those people didn't want to give the video another view, which is why they watched it with me. And probably a lot of people, because they ended their H3 show immediately before releasing the video, so there probably was a lot of people that came to watch it here. Denim's attempt to feign ignorance of H3 Snark is transparently and comically false. Rather, it is clear that Denims and the H3 Snark mods coordinated their efforts. Indeed, after ending her group viewing session of the Nuke, Denim's screen shows that she had the H3 Snark subreddit on her screen the entire time. Denims begins her group viewing session of the Nuke 1 minute after the Nuke was released to the public. The timing of Denims' group viewing session of the Nuke demonstrates she did not pre-screen it to formulate her opinions, spread broadcast. Okay. On 74 separate occasions, Denims' group viewing session consisted of watching the Nuke for 30 seconds or more with no commentary whatsoever. In total, these excerpts comprise over 70 minutes of the Nuke, i.e. 70% of its total runtime. The poverty of Denim's commentary, colored by frequently showing long, unadulterated portions of the Nuke, further demonstrate that the overriding and dominant purpose of Denim's group viewing session was to serve as a substitute for the original and not to provide critical commentary. For the majority of her group viewing session, Denims speaks briefly. After showing a much longer excerpt of the Nuke, the fact that the excerpts Denims shows of the Nuke frequently eclipse her statements further emphasizes that the primary purpose of her group viewing session was to provide a substitute for the original. If I sat here and explained why he was wrong for like half of these things, we would be here for another 20 hours. Yikes. I've gone in and tried to explain why he's incorrect on like 1 in every 10 incorrect takes because I'm not trying to spend an entire week here. I don't even understand what to say about because, yeah, this is wrong because of this, another wrong take. Okay, well, I just paused it for 10 minutes. I feel bad pausing it again because surely there'll be something better here. Okay. Denim's admission that she failed to address the majority of points raised in the Nuke is self-evident. This further emphasizes that Denim's primary purpose was to host a group viewing session of the Nuke and that any criticism was an afterthought. She fails to address the following points raised in the prologue of the Nuke. Okay. On numerous occasions, Denims makes utterances that are completely incoherent or unclear. Okay. Denims frequently makes superficial comments with little to no elaboration. Okay. When Ethan cites the ban of Destiny as an example of Twitch's inconsistent enforcement of its community guidelines, Denims claims that the ban was due to Destiny's statements condoning Kyle Rittenhouse killing protesters, only to realize that the ban was due to Destiny calling Keffels inbred. Got him. A lot of this is like countering Denim's claims about her commentary. I don't know what the point of that is. I don't know why this needs to be in here, but... Denims, who is not Jewish, good one, makes the grotesquely bigoted statement that it is anti-Semitic to associate Zionism with Judaism. Okay. First claim for relief for direct copyright infringement against Denims. TEI incorporates, by reference, the allegations contained in the preceding paragraphs of this complaint. TEI not granting a license. Due to Denim's acts of copyright infringement, TEI has suffered damages in an amount to be established at trial. I'm surprised I didn't put a request or name any damages in here. I feel like that's pretty common for complaints that I've seen, but again, I don't have like a ton of... I don't have like a lot of experience reading copyright complaints, so maybe that's common practice for copyright related stuff. Due to Denims' act of copyright infringement, Denims obtained profit she would not have realized, but for her infringement of this, acts of copyright were done with actual constructive knowledge of TEI's rights, such that said acts of copyright infringement were willful, intentional, malicious, and or taken with reckless disregard of TEI's rights. Second claim for relief, contributory copyright infringement. I don't know what this means. Like what section of the law this... were made with actual constructive knowledge of TEI's rights. So they're looking for that TEI be awarded defendants in each of their profits plus TEI's losses attributable to defendants' infringement of the Countdown episode, the exact sum to be proven at the time of trial. You could have all these amounts calculated in advance. I don't know why they wouldn't throw any of them up here, but that TEI be awarded defendants in each of their profits plus TEI's losses, or at least your losses, or not your losses. Yeah, your losses, sorry. You could probably guess it. The exact sum to be proven at the time of trial. TEI be awarded if reasonable attorney's fees and costs. The statutory damages in the amount of $150,000. And jury trial demanded. Date June 19. Jesus. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Some parts of this are super memey, and I feel like shouldn't have been here at all. Like the Hassan thing, I think it was kind of retarded, and some of the opening things were retarded. But there's a lot more in here that I didn't realize. I don't know what the scheme is. It almost feels like RICO, but it's not that, obviously. Like, what is contributory copyright infringement? Like, if a whole bunch of people are working together to infringe on somebody's copyright. Contributory infringement is a form of secondary liability for direct infringement of a patent, copyright, or trademark. It is a means by which a person may be held liable for infringement even though they did not actually engage in infringing activities. Ooh, okay. So like posting the link to or facilitating the link to or directing traffic to places that you know are copyright infringing, even if you yourself aren't hosting the content directly. The Copyright Act does not expressly impose liability for contributory infringement. According to the U.S. Supreme Court, the absence of such express language in the copyright statute does not preclude the imposition of liability for copyright infringement on certain parties who have not themselves engaged in the infringing activity. One who knowingly induces, causes, or materially contributes to copyright infringement by another, but who has not committed or participated in the infringing act themselves, may be held liable as a contributory infringer if they had knowledge or reason to know of the infringement. Oof, okay. Were either of these cases cited by, are you seriously? Fuck you. The Sony one wasn't. Was this one? Okay, I don't think they cited either of these. Metro. Just making sure. No, okay. I wonder what these cases... held. The sale of the VTRs to the general public does not constitute contributory infringement of respondents' copyrights. This had to do with some other bullshit. Okay, held. Okay, the protection given to copyrights is wholly statutory, and in a case like this, in which Congress has not plainly marked the course to be followed by the judiciary, the court must be circumspect in construing the scope of rights created by a statute that never contemplated such a calculus of interests. Any individual may produce a copyrighted work for a fair use. The copyright owner does not possess the exclusive right to such a use. Not support respondents' novel theory that supplying the means to accomplish an infringing activity and encourage that activity through advertisement are sufficient to establish liability for copyright infringement. This case does not fall in the category of those in which it is manifestly just to impose vicarious liability because the contributory infringer was in a position to control these copyrighted works by others and had authorized the use without permission from a copyright owner. Here, the only contact between petitioners and the users of the VTRs occurred at the moment of sale. There is no precedent for imposing vicarious liability on the theory that petitioners of the VTRs with constructive knowledge that their customers might use the equipment to make unauthorized copies of copyrighted material. The sale of copying equipment, like the sale of other articles of commerce, does not constitute contributory infringement. Okay, so it sounds like they considered this at least. So That'll be interesting to see. I feel like there's a strong argument for that in here, obviously. Well, it's like the strongest argument, basically. Well, damn. Okay. Well, what do you want me to say? What would be more surprising, if they settle or if they don't? I mean, if I was Ethan Klein, my guess is going to be the only person here who could actually pay if they're awarded max statutory damages is probably, maybe Denims. Frogan is broke, and Casey Tron was the other defendant, is broke. And likely the anonymous defendants here, the H3 Snark mods, are also probably broke. I mean, if it was me, it would depend on how much what's your hourly cost for the lawyers. I would go for broke. I would say, fuck it, go hard. If they want to settle, I think the settlement would have to be close to what you would imagine winning at trial anyway. And then if they want to settle, then go for it. I mean, they're going to get saddled with the bill and the judgment regardless. And then if they don't, then just, I guess, push hard at, yeah, why not, right? Are you sure that Casey Tron is broke? I think she has some whales paying for her life. I knew some MS-13 members that used to live in the state that she was a part of. I don't want to dox her, but she's moved since. And when she moved, like 50% of the MS-13 gang members in that state had to retire from drug dealing and get a job because she was consuming so much marijuana. She was almost single-handedly keeping alive the entire weed trade of where she was. I don't think any individual can support that habit for very long, in my opinion. No way they settle without conditions that prevents them from commenting on clients and requiring community moderation on the matter. I mean, yeah, you can have a whole bunch of like non-disparagement clauses or anything else that would be part of a settlement. Breaking: the U.S. has completed bombing of Iran nuclear sites, from the Spectator Index. Did we bunker bust the mountain? Is that what we did? Source from Trump. Not found. Good job, dipshit. Glad that I have to go to Truth Social to see what my president is doing. Okay, I see no post here. Did you take a screenshot of this, or? Our good friend Luckner got a picture. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Damn. That puts Iran in a pretty awkward spot. Because don't they have to retaliate in some way against a US base or something? Can the Ayatollah really afford to just sit there and go, okay, well, we just got smacked the fuck up? Maybe just proxies attack US bases? Well, I feel like Iran would have to respond directly now, right? Like Iran tried to respond directly with after Soleimani was killed, yeah?
Truly I say unto you.
Well, I've seen this before. Okay. Damn. Wait, did Frogan tapped at Muslim community, $24,000. She's crushing the other two defendants, the named defendants. Or wait, maybe not. Denims, fundraiser by Denims. Oh, she got up to 16,300. Go fund me Caseytron. $10,000 from one person. Oof. Ooh. These guys are about to very quickly find out how popular each of them are. Oh no. Rip. I can't believe they didn't do like a joint fundraiser or something. That's crazy. Reed Frogans. After nearly 2 years of a targeted harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker. I wonder what Ethan's legal firm or law firm is charging him, like what the hourly rate is to write and research and do everything. Read the comments on the donations. Okay. Oh, Jesus. It's crazy that all of this started just because Ethan unfollowed her. True. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna grab some. Jesus.
Is Thursday, July. Disability Pride Night is Thursday, July 10th, and with the theme ticket, fans take home a Cardinals cap featuring the Disability Pride flag and Cardinals in Braille. Details at cardinals.com/theme.
I mean, like, this was just like a, like, you know.
Bum, bum.
What is this? Oh, okay. It's a misspeak, but it's still a massive misspeak. Yeah, but I mean, like, flag, I mean, like, it's close. I like, you know, not the best, but I still think that one, dude, that one thing was so cringe. Oh my God. Wait, what was it, an MP4? What was the, fuck. What was the link to the guy? Somebody link me the guy. What do you think will be the COPA reaction will be when Denims and Froganics are faced with Hassan's fair weather friend behavior? They probably just won't talk about it, I guess. I don't know. Oh my God.
Pursued it, but this could have been 3 separate.
Okay, but it wasn't 3 separate. Let's go with what happened in the case.
But honey, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. That I don't know what to say to that. I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
The question here is what happened. I'm sorry, I've just been totally thrown by
I
my
can
mistake.
imagine. I can imagine. I'm a little thrown by that also, if I'm being honest.
Your Honor, I don't know what to say. It's just a...
Okay, well, go ahead. You've only got 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
The question here wasn't
The middle judge has to like control herself because she just like watch the middle judge.
pursued, but this could have been 3 separate.
Okay, but it wasn't 3 separate. Let's go with what happened in the case.
But honey, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She's like,
I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
The question.
oh man. Born too late to deploy to the Middle East. Born too early to deploy to the Middle East. Born just in time to deploy to the Middle East base. Yo, somebody pointed out this thing earlier. Is this meme for real? That Trump always says 2 weeks because it's like it's far enough away that everybody will forget about it, but it's close enough that it seems like it's gonna actually happen. Has anybody?
So ready.
No, fuck. It's not this one. Stop. Somebody link the thing.
We don't torture and murder people.
Yeah, your mom does. God,
And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked.
can you give us your current thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you think Bitcoin... No!
Can take 2 nuclear. I say, okay, you can take 2 weeks for that approval. We're going to be sending letters out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to countries, telling them what the deal is.
And do you still believe that Putin actually wants to end the war?
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. But I could answer that question better in 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you about that in a month from now or 2 weeks from now. Trust President Putin. You know, in about 2 weeks. You can ask that question in 2 weeks, and we'll see. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks, probably. Pretty exciting, right?
Does any of this 2 week stuff ever happen? Wait, what the fuck? June 19th, that was 2 days ago. For Trump, 2 weeks is the magic number.
I have a message directly from the president.
This was 2 days ago?
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future.
Oh, true. 2 weeks is a sprint in Agile terms, so he's on Agile. Maybe.
I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
What exactly would a deal...
Oh, that's why Elon emailed out, give 5 things you've done. They were doing stand-up. That's what he wanted to... I don't actually know that's part of Agile or not. I'm just repeating terms I've heard before, okay? I'm basically, when it comes to anything having to do with software development, I'm an LLM, okay? I see shit, and then I combine the words in a way that seems like they make sense, and then I just spit it out, and hopefully it works, okay? That's AI right there.
Iran need to entail?
No enrichment of a uranium, and it would absolutely not... Iran is not absolutely not able to achieve a nuclear weapon.
Okay. All right. gotta do something. We did this. Breaking. John Jones is officially retired. Dana White announced. Who the fuck is John Jones? Loser. No, never heard of him. What are these Pisco tweets? Re-H3, fine with owners suing to enforce IP against infringements, even though bad intent or malice, legally or colloquially, are not elements. They can justifiably be grounds to pick targets, but the React Savior stuff is cringe, 100% bullshit. Also complain is dog shit. So I wouldn't say the React Savior stuff is 100% bullshit. It's obviously motivated at least by a little bit of evilness. Also, this bad intent or malice are not elements. They do seem to be elements when suing for the maximum statutory damages. I don't know if Pisco addressed that or not, or if he missed it, or if I'm not understanding something about what seems to be the plain reading of the statute. Okay, sorry. Ethan, who I've praised for standing up for fair use in the past, is pretending the lawsuit is about defending the React community. He starts his video by condemning lazy reaction videos as an injustice. He rightly clips the video of XQC embodying this injustice, playing like, okay. His trashy complaint is filled with typos, formatting errors, irrelevant garbage, and political grievance. Reads like schizophrenic ramblings, but it also promotes the savior narrative. I feel like the copyright-related stuff, I feel like, is incredibly strengthened by the H3 Snark stuff in the middle. I feel like all of that adds a lot more weight. If the contributory stuff is real, I think it shows a lot more malice and foresight on the knowledge of all the people, or on all the people involved. Did Pisco go through the entire complaint on stream? Do you think that H3 was trying to bait Hassan to watch the vid so he could also sue him? No, I don't think there's any proof of that. Some people are saying 30%. Some people are saying he skimmed. Some people are saying he read. Some people are saying he read the whole thing. Okay. I don't know how you can have differing opinions on this when only one of these can be correct, but... Stop. No. No. Wait. Oh, this. Yeah, I saw we bombed Iran. Pretty wacky and wild. I watched the fucking stream, Dustin. He read the whole thing. Okay. Is this the first time we've ever bombed Iran? Directly? I believe so. I don't know if the United States has ever attacked Iran directly before.